Hello, hello, everybody. Today we have a awesome guest. His name is Michael Epstein, and we go into a lot of high-level executive talk, but also the marketing aspects of a handwritten letter, but written by a robot. It's fascinating, and we go into the different stuff and how he, near the end, you should listen. If this is already piquing your interest, when you contact him, he'll actually give you a good hookup for his services too. So other than that, let's have a wonderful conversation and stay safe and stay awesome, you guys.
Welcome to the Josh Bolton Show, where we dive into interesting and inspiring conversations. And now, your host, Josh Bolton.
Window here.
Oh, okay.
So I noticed the sun just popped into the side and was lighting up my face.
It's like only this half will look good.
Yeah, exactly.
So how's everything with you?
Everything's good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. I've had a few Zoom calls already, so it's been nice.
Okay,
Been
good.
busy.
Yeah, everybody's gearing up for Q4, we're in Q4, but
I want to say officially looking forward to Q4. Yeah. So how is you've been doing e-commerce for what you said, like 20, 25 years?
Yeah, since 2000.
So then you're getting into postcard mailing, right? For marketing?
Yeah. So was in e-commerce, started a company, sold it in 2013, continued doing kind of private equity operating work, worked with a lot of 8 and 9 figure brands as CMO and as an operating partner. And then now an investor in principal in PostPilot, which is this platform for sending personalized direct mail at scale.
Okay. Yeah, because like all my different like marketing guys and one of them gave me like a free seminar and they were talking they're like, it sounds stupid, but postcards are the new thing because no one's doing it. So it's the new thing. You got to do it.
Totally. That's what we believe because, it used to be, your junk mail went to your mailbox and email was like where the important stuff went. And now it's like nobody pays attention to emails and, getting a physical postcard is like,
it's impressive.
Really, yeah.
Anything that's not a credit card company is actually impressive to get.
Yeah. So we have new technology that we just launched recently that actually creates handwritten cards at scale too. Ooh. And that's really neat. It uses, go ahead.
Is it like, does it use a CNC machine to emulate writing? Like a Cricut or something?
Yeah, it's not a CNC, but it's similar in that it's similar in that it's a robot holding the pen and writing and like with nuance and all the variations and lettering and spacing and everything that you would expect in like a real human handwritten card. And so when you like pick that up out of the mailbox and you see the handwritten name and address and a real stamp on it, like addressed to you, I mean, you're reading that for sure.
Oh yeah. Like that. A lot of my clients have told me, clients guess, essentially like some of them have gotten the ears of massive CEOs and companies because they sat there and just slammed out cards, put their back. He's like, back then it was 10 cents, just mailed our postcard, sent it out. And he's like, and that's how I got all my clients because no one else did that.
Exactly. Yeah. We get a lot of B2B people prospecting with it, or doing lead follow-up because it gets through to the decision makers and they actually look at it and read it.
Yeah, because it's not like garbage in and you're like for Gmail, you can put a filter in it. Anything with the word unsubscribe, immediately throw it away. Well, then I want to say how many hundreds of thousands of dollars a month is just gone because of that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm sure you get the same. You're just bombarded by cold pitches all day long. So I delete them without reading them all day. And to your point, a lot of people, I have some filters too. A lot of people just filter them out altogether.
Yeah. And it's like, it would have been great, but it's like you hit certain filters. So it's like, Try to be original, I guess.
Exactly. So yeah, it definitely has that kind of surprising delight factor to it that gets people to actually pay attention.
It really
And like
does.
from a cost perspective, when you're looking at, you're looking at the cost of like Google and Facebook ads now, especially if you go into Q4.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you're actually paying more in many cases. You're
And you
paying
don't know
more
what
per
you're
click.
getting.
Yeah, exactly.
They're kind of making really, really fancy, educated guesses, but they can't guarantee anything now.
Yeah. Yeah. And the iOS thing, that's a whole nother can of worms that people are dealing with in Q4 of like having more visibility.
And I guess iOS 15 is going to make it for email now too.
Yep. So yeah, there go like your email engagement metrics.
Your cookies, your email's gone, all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's gonna be an interesting one this year for folks between supply chain, inflation, all the
wage
iOS
inflation.
updates. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I would say like where I am in California, we have what I think last I checked around still 60 in the ocean just waiting to come in for ships.
I think it's even more. Where are you in California?
Near Long Beach.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm in San Diego.
Oh, nice. I say your port's not as big though.
No, but you could probably see the ships out there just all hanging around.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I think there might even be like 100 plus at some times.
Oh my gosh, really? Hang on, I'm gonna check that. That's insane. Because like the last article I heard, it was like 65-ish.
Okay, you're probably right. I remember seeing something that it was. Yeah, I mean the numbers are just nuts.
It's not good at all.
No. I mean, time-wise, people are waiting 8 weeks, up to 4 or 5 months in some cases. I mean, I know a lot of the people that we do business with.
Oh, shit. So September 28th, 2021, a couple months off, but not much. Yep. It says there are more than 1,000 cargo ships just off California coast waiting to come in.
Oh, my God.
Holy. So I guess the 46 are the ones in queue for this quarter. That's nuts. I don't know how much you heard about like the pricing on containers too, but it's it was really insane.
It was like 6 months ago. It was like $3,000 to $4,000 a container, and now we've got a lot of people we work with minimum are paying 25.
I want to say
in some cases.
It depends on the product too, because like I used to work security for a truck gate, and the truckers would tell me, "Oh yeah, it's a minimum if they to even look at you to get you in the harbor is like 10,000," and that's if you're like getting little like paper doodads shipped from China. They're like, if it's more, they're
crazy,
like,
right?
Yeah, they're like, if it's cars, they're like, you're paying the price of 5 cars to ship in 2 cars.
Right. Right. It's insane. And
that was back in 19.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how people are going to manage this year. I know a lot of folks are just waiting on their stuff that, that they need to sell in Q4. And then they're just paying through the nose.
Yeah. And then the USPS is actually going to slow down shipping too for online commerce specifically.
Yeah, that's fortunately for us, it's not really in the like first class letter mail segment. Okay. If anything, it's like a day difference. But when you start getting to the first class packages and things like that, those can take a few extra days in some cases. They say it's not going to impact the majority of packages, but some, especially to rural areas where they just want to they want to put more on trucks than planes, which makes sense, but it's going to mean a couple days on some of the bigger packages, but they're not really expecting it to affect like letter mail, the stuff that we send.
Yeah, almost like relatively speaking, like if you're sending it to a really remote area, they say a week, it might take a week and a half, but I mean, those in the rural area would understand it's not coming
Yeah,
when it says it's coming.
totally. Yeah.
So, I'm loving this how it is. Can we just get a quick intro of you and what you your full name, and you've already said the entrepreneur, just your elevator pitch.
Sure. So Michael Epstein, been in e-commerce for over 20 years, started a company in 2000 and sold it. It was an online retailer, sold that in 2013 to private equity and continued in this private equity operating role for a number of years, working with 8 and 9 figure online retailers. They're private equity portfolio companies
Right.
on marketing strategy. Served as CMO of a family of 8 and 9 figure brands, and used direct mail successfully at a lot of those companies, and have always been a proponent of it. And then got into working with PostPilot, where I'm an investor and a principal in the company, which sends personalized direct mail at scale, postcards and handwritten cards.
So then, for someone like, let's say a warehouse where they handle it, let's say they don't necessarily want to write it. They could just commission you guys and say, hey, this is my client list and their address. Can you send them a thank you for whatever? Or is it more meant for, like you're saying, Shopify integration? Is it meant for more like a purchase and then you send a postcard afterwards saying, hey, thank you for the purchase. Can we get a review, et cetera, et cetera?
Sure. So there's a few ways that we can do it. So we have a native Shopify integration. So we make sending these triggered cards as easy as sending an email. You can create a campaign, you can create an automated flow that's triggered based on different criteria, the same way you'd set up an email trigger. So for example, customer makes their second purchase or customer spends over $500. Let's trigger a postcard or a handwritten card to go out to that customer with an incentive to come back again. Or customer purchases product A. Let's send an incentive for them to come back and buy product B.
Right.
So that's a really easy way to trigger these cards and send them automatically based on the criteria that you set. And in some cases, particularly for our handwritten cards, we do have a number of customers that want to include it in shipments as they go out the door if they're handling their own fulfillment. So for example, I talked to a supplements company on Friday, and they want 100,000 handwritten cards that they can start including as a thank you note from their CEO to include in each shipment as it goes out.
Okay.
So we can do that as well.
So as I was just thinking, is like, this is just me curious, thinking technology wise. Could I give you a basic outline of how I write, and could your robot repeat that kind of thing?
We can. So we have a variety of handwriting styles to choose from. And in most cases, a customer is not going to know like what your actual handwriting looks like. So
Right.
it doesn't have to match yours exactly, as long as it looks really genuine, authentic, and real, which it does. But if you do want to send it, for example, we have clients that send it to their new employees when they get onboarding, or a Christmas card to their clients, like a financial advisor or a real estate agent. And in that case, they'll actually submit a simple sample of their handwriting, and we'll digitize that handwriting, including all the nuances that make it look just like theirs. And we can have our robots recreate their handwriting and create these cards the same way.
That's awesome. So is it strictly just America, or is this an international system too?
We do mail to internationally, but from a cost perspective, most of our clients are based in the US, because you're obviously going to pay higher postage sending it internationally.
Right.
We are looking at international distribution centers where we'll set up our technology and then have it be sent locally, but that's probably not in the very near term.
Yeah. So then what's the, like, let's say I'm done, I need to buy this. Is it just monthly $10, unlimited postcards? But if you want like the fancy glossy print one, that's like whatever, or what's your pricing and scale for it?
Sure. So you can do a pay-as-you-go, where there's no monthly fee. You just pay per card that you want sent. And that is 89 cents per postcard or $2.99 per handwritten card. And that includes everything. It's the printing, the postage, the design, the cards, the stationery. And then we have subscription plans, which allows you to get lower per card costs, as well as some additional features like professional design service and other things like that. But you can you subscribe to one of our plans and then get cards for 49 cents for a postcard or $1.99 for a handwritten card. Again, includes postage, printing, and everything.
So then is there like an option, the person's just full bore, like what would be the unlimited tier for everything, or you don't have that yet?
Well, because you can send an unlimited amount of cards. You're still paying there is still a cost per card, because obviously there's physical cost involved with it, including the cost of the stamp.
Right.
So it's not an unlimited program, but you can send one or a million, however many you want. It can be triggered automatically. So again, whether you're sending one card or 1,000 a day, it works. You kind of set it and forget it. It works behind the scenes, and then you just pay per card that goes out.
So is it billed as it happens, or is it like end of the month collectively? Okay, this is how many you printed. Here's your bill now.
So you would just deposit funds. It works similar to using like Facebook or Google Ads. So basically you either deposit funds and then it gets depleted, or you have an auto renew set so that you never worry about a campaign stopping in the middle. It just rebills your card when you hit a threshold that you set. Okay.
So yeah, that's like really anything unless you have Facebook, Google. Okay. I was just thinking of because there was someone, I don't remember who, they said there's an unlimited. I'm like, yeah, that's probably for those little like 2x4 postcards. And like really the post office is just like, why are you sending this? It's so damn cheap, kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I would worry for somebody offering unlimited cards if they're paying for because you still got to pay the postage and the card and for the card. So that's probably a little dangerous of a business model. It's probably a little fishy. We definitely make it really, really cost effective and less than the cost of a click in many cases.
So I'm curious, let's say someone does not actually have like an email list built, well, not email, address list built up. They have their email, but not their address. What are some tactics that you have seen that work to improve asking for that really valuable data of where they live?
Sure. So there are matching services. We partner with a couple of them that can help get physical addresses from an email address, and they have a decent match rate. But most of our customers are using it for retention and loyalty building campaigns. So our focus is primarily driving higher profits through greater customer retention, loyalty, and word of mouth. So in those cases, you're going to have the customer's address because they've bought from you before. I think the key point that a lot of people are kind of aware of is that customer acquisition is so expensive and continues to get more expensive that it's so important to keep that customer from a profitability standpoint. And email, you're missing in most cases 80+% of your audience if you're only using email to try and get that customer to continue to buy again. Even Facebook ads, like people are just blind to that at this point, and you're not even getting great visibility into those metrics as you and I talked about earlier because of the iOS updates. So your existing customer base is a gold mine for improving profitability of your business. You just have to make sure that your message is getting in front of people and that you're staying top of mind, staying relevant, and that you're creating a customer experience that creates loyalty so that they know when it comes time to buy again, they're coming right to you. And that's what our cards do. And we focus on, helping businesses improve their profitability through increased customer retention.
And especially like if you can land a client like Coke or Pepsi, where even if it's just mailing to grocery stores, like the manager saying, hey, thank you for whatever for hosting our products, so and so, like even the way you can scale and meet people is so impressive with the service you're offering.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, you go. I'm
No,
stammering.
go ahead.
I was just it's so impressive because I mean, I don't think even schools are teaching kids how to write letters anymore.
Yeah, I think in a lot of cases they've removed cursive. I think
Yeah.
my kids, I think at one of their schools they removed cursive, but yeah, it's such a powerful way to get in front of people, create a lasting impression, especially for people selling, B2B software or other high LTV products that have great retention built in. So supplements and food products and things like that. I mean, if you can spend a couple bucks to make that customer loyal and ensure that they're continuing to repeat over and over and over again, I mean, that is an easy investment to make. And if you're selling, software or high value product and spending a couple bucks to ensure that you have a follow-up message after, say, someone has a demo with you, or you've prospected someone and you want to get in front of them, like the impression that you're going to make with a handwritten card is just not something you can replicate by just blasting customers with emails or other ways to get in front of them.
I was just thinking that when you mentioned the supplemental, especially because they have to give you their address to get their supplement online. There's actually a guy I have. I'm probably going to go hit him up after this. His name is William Brunham, Navy SEAL, and he's trying to start his thing. And it was one of those, yes, he has the automated thank you for buying. Can I get a review? Blah, blah, blah. But he personally actually wrote an email because I knew it was him because it wasn't scripted.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just one of those, he said, hey, just thank you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking right now, dude, if he did a letter, because he's a SEAL, he wants efficiency. And if he has to, he'll intervene here and there. My God, just to get a letter from him, like now I know it wouldn't be handwritten, but still it looks handwritten. The human mind is like, wow, like he took almost 20 minutes out of his whole day and paid like 50 cents postage to get this to me. Like that right there, instant loyalty. There is no price. There is no price to that.
Yeah, you're right. And we do have clients that are kind of well-known influencers or have kind of partners that they work with, their influencers, and we can digitize their handwriting, we can digitize their signature, and we can send cards that essentially are coming from them. And it just creates, I mean, that is a wow factor, and that's what typically gets shared on social media.
It's like one of my coworkers, he's a huge podcaster, so he's obsessed with Joe Rogan. It's really funny, actually. And that's what I told him, like, hey, because he knows I have a show. I'm like, well, let's just say hypothetically I'm Joe Rogan. I don't know if I'll ever be as carnivorous as he is, but hey, I said, let's say hypothetically, if you just paid Joe $30 and you got X amount of package, and he just sat there and he's like, only 30? He's like, shit, I paid $100. And I'm like, done. I'm just sitting there going, and this is sorry, my little guy just came in. It's just one of those, he's like, yeah, just to have him take time out of his extremely busy day to talk to me means way more than money could ever explain to me.
Definitely. And even coming from a brand that, like we work with a number of cosmetic brands, and just having a card sent to you. I mean, there have been studies done that show receiving mail from a brand that you've done business with is perceived more like a gift versus an inconvenience, like you think of for email. And when you get it from a brand that and it looks and you, to your point, it feels like they took the time to acknowledge you and thank you. That's loyalty that you can't buy by just beating them over the head with banner ads.
Right. And that's one of those, one of my guests, his name's Steve Sims. And that's his thing. He's like, if you want to stand out, he talks about personally writing. because he's like, there's a human touch to it. He's like, we humans are good at smelling bullshit real quick. And if it's human, they're going to be like, oh, well, then I have to read this. And that was the one he told me. He's like, when I go to my guest, like, or his client, he has like 50 things going off at once. But essentially, he's like, if I'm at a place and I know Johnny likes bourbon, I'll buy him a bottle of the expensive bourbon and like write on it, hey, just thinking of you.
Yep.
He's like, that's it. He's like, $20 for the bourbon, probably $5 to ship it, and instant loyalty. Little guy's crying. Let me go open the door real quick.
No problem.
Sorry about that.
No problem. But you're right. I mean, that type of surprise and delight experience just goes so far. That client's always going to be loyal to you for just having that genuine, thoughtful touch point.
And it's sad to say, but it's kind of common sense. But I'm starting to realize that's not as common as we think it is.
No, I mean, I think that it's certainly the exception now, and that's what makes it work so well. And I think that, today you have to stand out, and you have to do something that is memorable and differentiated to really be a lasting brand and a profitable brand. Because if you're an online retailer and you're competing with Amazon, like, they've just raised the stakes so much to the point where, again, I'm not telling your listeners anything they probably don't already know, but it's like, low prices are table stakes. Fast shipping is table stakes. Just a normal experience where they get a product, they make the order easily, that shows up in a few days, like that just doesn't create a real connection with the brand that you're doing business with. Right. And everybody can compete on features. Everybody can compete on price. Everybody can try and compete on shipping and some of these standard things. But if it's not extraordinary, if you're not doing anything that stands out, like, that's what's super valuable to brands today is, genuine, deep relationships with their customers, where they want to come back and buy from you, and they think to go to you first, versus just having kind of the status quo experience, not really having anything that you remember, and then going around and looking at your competitors again the next time they're in the market for something that you offer.
Oh yeah, it's funny, but it's even with Amazon's obsession of customer service to the point of they're pretty much screwing over the seller on the platform. It still works, and it doesn't have to be to the caliber that Amazon is. Just say, hey, if you're a solopreneur, obviously, if I'm sleeping, I'll get back to you when I wake up. But like 60 minutes or less, you will have a full personal reply from me. That right there, you're leaps and bounds ahead of everyone.
Right. And Amazon's not trying to compete on providing like that type of personal customer experience. I mean, They make it super frictionless. It is super easy to buy from Amazon. And but again, you're not going to beat them on that, on those metrics. Like, you're not going to you're not going to win that way. You're going to win by developing these deeper relationships with your customers where they actually want to do business with you.
It's funny. A while ago, I went to the horse races. It was 2018 or 19. And it was just one of those very prestigious sheik. I don't know who he was, but he had a $20,000 like golden scarab just like on his chest. And so it was one of those, I'm like, my dad's already a couple beers in. So I'm trying to like, hey, place your bet on the horse. We got to get back to the thing. And so I get him back and I go to place my bet, and the scarabs, the sheik pretty much says, hey, you're a bit of an entrepreneur, aren't you? I'm like, oh, I mean, I look out for everyone. He's like, you're an entrepreneur. I'm like, okay. And he said, what do you do? I'm like, well, I'm thinking of selling stuff. And he's like, sell on Amazon. But he said specifically sell on Amazon add a business card and steal their customers. And I'm like, it was intense at the moment. I'm like, what? And now for you, it's like, send them a personal business card, but also send them a handwritten card. Well, yeah, they shop on Amazon, but now it's like this dude went above and beyond to add these two things. Well, maybe I will go to a site kind of thing.
Right. You got to own that relationship with the customer.
And a lot of things have gotten like the fancy, like we were mentioning with all the different iOS updates are screwing a lot of digital marketing up. The relationship is more important because they will say, what we were saying with 15, it's going to screw up email too. So it's like, you can't,
right.
Email list was like the holy grail. Now it's not, I mean, it's nice, but it's not going to do much.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, I'm not suggesting don't do email. It's a great, I mean, it is a channel that you should certainly continue.
Right.
Lifecycle email is really important, but all that work that you're doing to generate these great lifecycle campaigns that are triggered and as relevant as possible, like they're still only reaching a fraction of your audience. And today, most brands, if they get 20% open rate on their email campaigns, they're pretty happy with that, which means that there's 80% of folks that are customers. They've raised their hand. They said, I want to buy from you, or I have bought from you. And those are the most valuable customers you have, but they're not even getting your messages. So how are you going to ensure that it gets to them? And to your point, leveraging your first party data and creating these automated campaigns that are personalized. So you can dynamically personalize these cards, postcards and handwritten cards, to greet people by name, include other personal attributes, and trigger them based on all this first party data that you have. And you know that it's going to get to them and land in their hand. And you can track the performance of it after the fact, because we're natively integrated with Shopify. We can track what those customers do. Do they go on to make another purchase, and when do they purchase? Do they use a code that was included on your card?
That's what I was just going to say. Is there a way to automate, like, let's say, limited time because you're great and you got this 35% off? And if there's already and then the automated code, okay, so that's good. That's the next thing I was thinking of. My shoot, can I automate the coding too?
Yeah, so you can do that, and it automatically tracks the redemptions of that code, as well as just customers that purchased after receiving the card, because we know when it was shipped and when it was delivered. And in a lot of cases, people use the code, but most e-commerce retailers know that in some cases, they don't even use the code on the card, or they found a different code on the site, or they forget. So we'll show you both sets of data: the people that we know received the card and went on to purchase, and those that specifically redeemed the code that was on the card, if you include one.
So I'm curious. That's where my eye twitched. I was thinking too hard. Is there, you being an e-commerce guy, is there a widget or an attachment I can put on my Shopify or BigCommerce that will automatically generate codes? And is there a way to automate it to send it to you too, that you know of?
With a postcard, you're saying?
Yeah, with the postcard, whereas like it automatically generates the code, or is it one of those, I just give you a list and say from ABC 1, 2, 3, go all the way to Z double 3 triple Z 999 kind of thing? Or is there like a code or value I have to put into the postcard system?
No, so it automatically syncs your data, so it knows. Okay. You just create the criteria or the segment, just like you would in an email campaign. You want to say, I want to target everybody that has bought more than 2 times but has not made a purchase in the last 90 days, and we'll give you that segment. Or I want people that have made their first purchase and didn't make their second purchase within 60 days. Then you can get that segment. You can create a code in Shopify that you want to use. In a couple of weeks, we'll offer the ability to use single-use coupon codes created in Shopify, so it automatically applies a single-use code to the card as opposed to a general code. And so you'll be able to choose from those options, and we'll track, again, anyone that redeems those codes.
Okay,
and show you the ROI right in your dashboard.
I would say, yeah, it will tell you the ROI and the cost. Okay, cool. I was just sitting there going, I'm like, I haven't started my site yet, so I'm like, is there a way to like have it where the site makes a code and then sends it to you, so I don't have to keep copying pasting from Excel to your place?
Well, I think it's an important point. Like, we built PostPilot because we sending that kind of personalized direct mail campaigns was hard to impossible. It was
It really is.
It was spreadsheets going back and forth, exports and imports, and creating codes, and hiring a graphic designer, and hiring a print house. And so you don't need to do any spreadsheets. You don't need to, there's no imports, exports. There's none of this like annual process. It is super simple. You could literally have a campaign in 5 minutes that is a personalized campaign going to customers that you define.
So then I'm curious, let's just say like the one-off, I just pay you like the $2, $2 or $3 you're saying for one card. I have like a client, like just a high value ticket one. I just want to check in. I just send you their name, address, what I want to send them, and then you process it, right?
Yeah. So if it's the handwritten card and you just want to send one off, then you could just enter their information. You might have a template that you like to use, both the design itself and then the message, so that you don't have to retype the message over and over again.
Yes.
If you have those kinds of customers where you're just like, I just want to fire off a thank you card, or thank you for viewing a demo, or thank you for your latest purchase, or something like that. You just want to do it one off. Yeah, you can just add their information, or you can search for their information in our platform and find them, and then just fire off a card using a template, a design, and message that you've saved, and it takes 2 minutes. Like, I actually had my daughter who's 9, send her birthday party thank you notes using this, and I watched her do it. This was early on when we were testing out the handwritten technology and the platform, and it was amazing. I mean, if I asked her to write cards by hand, it would have taken a lot of time.
It would have.
They just don't move super fast, and then they make a mistake or something like that. She was in there clicking. She had, I think, 30 thank you notes out the door, each individually personalized within 15 or 20 minutes. And that was like with her, a 9-year-old, in there and personalizing each message that went out. But because it's so easy, you've got these things saved, you can fire them off, really easily.
That's so
and
cool.
If it's automated, then you don't have to touch anything.
Yeah, you just input it. You guys handle the rest. And I was thinking just right now, I'm like, oh, that's like the Steve Jobs thing. Hand the iPhone to the kids. If the kids figure out you have a good product kind of thing. So
that was like, that was a big aha moment for me. Is like when I can give her no direction and she's in there and firing these things off super easily. I'm like, all right, this is
you got something.
We've made this process really simple.
So then, kind of like a pivot, what is some other than postcards, what are some other trends you see happening in the market as far as reaching out like this?
Well, not much in terms of physical outreach like this, where I think in terms of general e-commerce trends, obviously we're all moving towards more personalization, leveraging first-party data to provide as relevant of an experience as we can. I think that postcards and our handwritten cards are just another channel that fit in nicely into that overall strategy of just creating messaging that is relevant and personalized and multiple touch points. Because again, they're just not, customers are overwhelmed with digital messages and ads. They're not going to respond to just firing off an email. Doesn't mean don't do email. It just means that you've got to go beyond just sending an email and expecting, a lot of response and engagement from that.
Right. Yeah. Like you're saying, you're lucky if you get 20%, and that's that might not even work.
Right.
It's just I'm trying to think. So one of my guests, she actually wrote it. It was a Sharpie, but she actually took the time, like printed a special like envelope and then postcard, but she actually wrote it and actually like did key points of the show. I was curious, like if we have a general template, but it's like, is there one where I could say, hey, if I just input this data here in whatever the blank is, or is that's a little too particular? You might have to do it, kind of thing.
Well, we have merge fields, so you can dynamically, if you're if you have specific attributes that you're tracking and you want to insert them dynamically, then you can do that using our merge fields. If you want a person, go ahead.
I would say for someone like a lay person, how does merge field work?
Sure. So you know how, for example, in an email campaign, you might insert their name as a merge field, which means if you have their name in your database and you send an email to that person, it'll automatically say hi and then insert their first name from the database into that email. And this works kind of the same way. So we know your customers' names, we have the address, we have their product, their transaction history, and we can dynamically insert those attributes where you want them. So again, greet people by name, mention where they live if you need to, like some things that just continue to make it feel more and more personal and relevant to them.
I'm just trying to think for the merge field. Let's say I know you have a cat or a dog, and just be like, hey, how's Sparkles doing? Or is that, like I said, is that point where you need to personally put that in, kind of thing?
You technically can do that if you have that tracked in your data. If you like have a field in your data that says pet name and you actually track that, then you could theoretically add that to the card, and you could say, hey, Josh, hope your insert pet name, hope insert pet name is doing well, and it'll automatically pull that field and insert it for you.
That's so cool. I was just thinking for a buddy, he's trying to start a dog treat like online hustle. Mm-hmm. And that's where I told him, like, I was just saying, like, hey, you can't just keep making it on your own. You're going to have to figure out how to automate this. But he's like, but I write each card with their name and everything on it. I'm like, that's great. But what happens if you get 1,000 orders in a month? Are you going to be able to write 1,000 orders like that? So that's what I'm thinking. How would he do it? It's like, oh, well, yeah, if you're selling pet treats, just be like owner's name and then is Captain Admiral pet name kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cute. And you're like, oh, he's a Captain Admiral kind of thing.
Exactly. Like Chewy does that for pets. They send a handwritten birthday note.
Interesting. But they probably have someone like you now doing that too.
Yeah. Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, that would be really good, especially you hit on them, which is a good touch point, loyalty. You hit the pet, which goes back to them. But then you're also checking in on both. So it's like, what is it? You need at least 5 to pretty much win loyalty. So you got the letter that's different, something else. And it's just, yeah, I'm sitting here going, man, I wish I had more money to order stuff.
Yep.
What's your, more technical, what's your average output per day and per week of letters, just volume wise?
Well, we keep the specific numbers confidential, but
obviously
we have we have customers that are sending 100,000 cards, and we have customers that are sending 1 card. So we have it really runs the gamut, but we can turn cards around generally within 24 hours. So,
okay. So let's say I just dumped 1,000 cards on you.
Yeah.
That would be,
that'd go out the next day.
All of them?
Mm-hmm.
How? Okay. Explain that. That's just like, how is it a printer that looks like it's writing, or is it an actual, like this guy in the corner?
No, it is actual pen to paper, ink, like a ballpoint pen on paper, robotic our robots. We have like an army of them.
I want to
And
say you have to have an army at that point. Do you have a YouTube channel? I want to check this as we're talking.
we don't have a YouTube channel. We are we share a little bit of content, but we don't post a lot on kind of the proprietary technology that we have to write it. But you can kind of see it. You can see it on the site, and it looks perfect. I mean, again, it's holding a pen, it's putting pen to paper, it's writing out the card and the envelope in the handwriting style that you choose, or we could replicate your own. And it has all the nuance of a human hand. It has letter variation, so letters look different if they're repeated in the card. It has different angles of the letters and different indentations and different spacing. So, the tell it looks too perfect. Everything is exactly the same and perfect. That's not authentic. And so we make sure that it looks just like you would write it if you were doing it by hand. But yeah, we have a bunch of robots that can get that done in really quick turnaround.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm on your site right now. I'm like, wait, where is it? I want to see at least a photo of it. But yeah, okay. That's awesome. Yeah, it's I'm like your site saying it's like beyond 1,000+% return on investment because you just the whole thing, you won the loyalty, and not in the nefarious or evil way. You use the human interaction at its best.
Yeah, and you're targeting your customers with the message that's relevant and that they're engaging with. I mean, the ROI is, we run a lot of campaigns, and the ROI is really strong, and typically stronger than even what you're seeing in digital channels.
Well, yeah, because you can't measure loyalty as much as Google and Facebook wants to. You can't measure that. That's earned.
No, but we want to make it also that you're seeing an actual ROI with these campaigns as well. So there's the intangible of saying you've created tremendous loyalty. You're getting people sharing these pictures of these cards on Instagram and generating buzz, and like that stuff is awesome. And that's like icing on the cake for us, because we want to show you that it is directly profitable for you as well. Like you are getting a return on those cards based on customers receiving them and then taking action and making another purchase.
Yeah. I didn't even think about the Instagram thing. I mean, especially now with TikTok.
Yeah.
If you sent, what was it, my age and younger, they'll be on TikTok, be like, dude, this guy just wrote me a card.
Exactly.
Look at it.
Yeah. We see a lot of people sharing, which is awesome.
Yeah. So social media is nice and it's a good channel for getting your brand name known. But it's when they don't even have your handle, like whoever this guy is, he like literally sent me a card. That's right there is valuable.
Yeah. They tag your brand. It's just great word of mouth. We have like cosmetic brands I mentioned earlier, they do tons of social media advertising, right? And so for them to have customers sharing organically about the customer experience and a lot of them are influencers, like that's just extra return that I mean, one, you can't even really buy it. And two, it's just padding the overall benefit of using these cards. In addition to the direct ROI you're getting from people coming back and buying who receive them.
Oh, 100%. So then, other than the post site, is you're in your transition to running it. What are some other side projects you're working on other than your postcard system?
This is it. This is it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I will say,
we've been growing really fast over the last few years and continue to grow. So it's been a great ride.
Did your I want to say interest, your reputation, especially with the COVID lockdowns, gone up too?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's helped in that, e-commerce in general, it's generally benefited from this. And those are some of the biggest, that's the biggest audience that we typically work with is online retailers. And in addition, people are at home. So it's a great way to reach people. And they're also they're even more excited about getting direct mail. Cause I don't know about you, but like during COVID, walking out to the mailbox was like a break. Like I actually looked forward to doing it. And it was just something else, just getting out of the house. And so it did help us, and that a lot of people were trying to reach people at their home and engage with them in an authentic way.
I would also assume, because it's mostly automated, if like at least 90-95% automated. So the risk of COVID is like next to nothing, right?
Oh yeah. There's no risk there.
Right. So then, yeah, you could literally just be blasting each other letters back and forth and be like, I can't get my relative sick now.
Right.
I have to pay him the money.
Right.
Dude, I love this. Definitely want to get you on in the future. I got 3 going out questions for you.
Sure.
So you kind of actually already asked this, but other than work, what have you been doing to keep yourself busy during these COVID lockdown times?
Mostly family stuff, just enjoying the extra time. I have young kids, and so I've been able to enjoy having them around more and me working from home more. And that's been probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, especially spending a lot of time with your family as an entrepreneur, those moments are hard to get.
Exactly. So
then the second one is someone aspiring to be like you, successful, transitioned multiple times from different gigs. What are some tips, tricks, or advice you'd give a young entrepreneur trying to be you?
Man, good. That's tough. I certainly work hard. I've always been a hard worker. Nothing came easy. So there's that. There's hiring great people, I think, is the other big thing, and hire earlier than you think you need it. Hire somebody. I heard there's a great quote. I can't remember who it's attributed to, so I apologize, but I'm not stealing it. It was like hire as you start to hire, initially you're going to hire for your weaknesses, and as you get bigger and bigger, then you hire for your strengths, where you just continue to build this team around you. First to start filling in where you can't focus, and then to start actually doing some of your core functions even better than you by focusing on them. And
right,
I think that building the team is just critical.
It really is. It's one of those, you can go far as a solo person, but you can't last. You can't go the true distance. You need a team behind you for that.
Yeah, can't do it all on your own.
No, it's one of those, especially nowadays with internet, it's impossible.
Right.
So then the third one is, where can everyone contact you and just be like, hey, Michael, saw you on the show, kind of thing?
Yeah, you can email me, michael@postpilot.com. Go to the website, reach out. That's probably the easiest way. Happy to talk direct mail strategy, give your listeners a bonus to help get them started, make sure that they're set on the right path.
So then they just email you, say, hey, Josh sent me this way, kind of thing, and you give them a hookup. Nice. There we go.
Josh hookup. Yep.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Like I said, I love this. I'd love to talk to you in a couple months to see how the business is doing.
Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. It's mine. Well, congratulations. You made it to the end. You're an awesome person. Not many make it here. So, being the awesome person that you are, can you do me one more awesome favor? Can you rate and review this on whatever podcast services you're using? If you do it on Apple and you leave an actual written review, I have a thing on my website. I will take your written review and post it for all to see. Congratulations, you're permanently sealed on my site. Otherwise, I am trying to do YouTube more and live streaming. I will try to put as many of the YouTube links in the description of the show as I can. So give your boy some extra help over on YouTube. Watch my videos. I just mute it and change the channel, change the window or something. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for being awesome, and see you next time.